And my connection with him is something I've never felt with a horse before. I've never felt it. I didn't even know it was possible. I knew you could get a connection with a horse. I did not know it could be this deep. Good morning. I thought I'd do a little vlog today. It is Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. And I'm just getting ready to go. I've just realised that I have managed to get mascara all over my face. Oh, yes, it's Wednesday today. I am teaching for most of the day. I've got a couple of things to do as well. I've got Ginger to do this morning and this afternoon. And I thought I'd bring you with me for the day. I've only got Ginger now because I'm back on my summer routine. So sorry, I've only just woken up like a little while ago. I had a shower and stuff, but I'm not really very awake. Can you tell? Right, you stay there. Stay. What was I even saying? I'm looking at the wrong place again. Yeah, I'm back on my summer routine now, so that means that I've only got Ginger to do. I don't do the other horses through the summer, so I'd say my days are a bit quieter, but they're not because I'm teaching like crazy hours at the minute. I'm actually putting a bit of makeup on today. I don't usually, well, through the winter I barely wear makeup at all, to be honest, but in summer I do, just because my face gets like sweaty and horrible, and it's just better if I've like powdered it. It seems to help. So we're in the middle of like a little mini heat wave at the moment, and it really is mini, like it's lasting like 2 days. So yesterday was really warm, and today's gonna be really warm. It's gonna be like 23 degrees, which is super exciting. So yeah, so I thought I'd bring you with me for the day. Does anybody else wash their hair and then they just don't feel mentally prepared to dry it? My hair's so long as well that it takes so long to dry, so because it's going to be nice and warm outside, I'm not going to dry it. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to tie it up. So I realised that in the last vlog I did, I was supposed to tell you some Ginger updates, and I didn't, and I said I'd do it in the next vlog, and then it's been like, I don't know, a month, 2 months since I've done that. So I will do that today because some really cool stuff happening with Ginger at the minute. He's actually been off for a month because he's been lame, like on and off, and we didn't really know why. Still don't know why. It was a mystery. I think he pulled a ligament or something. Really don't know. But he's sound now, and some really cool stuff's been happening. So I'm going to update you on that later, at some point today, because I'm hoping to play with him this evening. And yeah, I need to update you on him, but he's just amazing, basically. Hey crew, so I haven't filmed a lot yet today because I want to film my session with Ginger later, and I want to have a proper chat to you, and otherwise it just ends up being really long. So I've done a lesson with Nicola and Dixie. I just popped home for lunch because I had a cancellation, like a late cancellation today. Hold on. That'll do. I just need to put my boots on. Yeah, I had a late cancellation today, so I just popped home for lunch. Now I'm off to see a client called Liz and her horse Hugo, who I am doing an advanced horsemanship course for, which I'll tell you about in a second. And this is day 2. Just make sure I've got my phone. Yes, I have. Yeah, this is day 2. So the sun's shining again. I'm so loving this weather. Let me get in the car and then I'll tell you about it. So the advanced horsemanship courses, I've been running them for as long as I've done an equestrian. Hold on, I'm trying to find decent lighting, that's better. Yeah, so basically what it is it's a course just for one person that I run for 5 days, either consecutively or some people split it over a few weeks. And so if they're doing it all in 1 week, which is the kind of normal, then we do 2 hours a day, every day for 5 days, so then it's 10 hours of tuition. And the good thing about it is because it's just them on their own, they don't have to share the time with anybody else, so they get all the time to them. We get to just work on what they want, so if they want to work on hacking or jumping or groundwork or ridden stuff or backing preparation or whatever they want, we can do, which is really cool because then all the time is concentrated on that one horse. So it's really good for people that don't have, maybe they don't have transport to take their horse on a course, or they don't feel ready to be on a course with lots of other people, or they can't take the time out of home life and stuff like that. So yes, it works really well and I really enjoy doing them. I love doing them. I'm on day 2 of Liz and Hugo's today, and it's just so much fun because you get so invested in their individual journey, getting to see them every day. You get that same kind of buzz as you get if you're on a normal course. And it's always a little bit sad at the end of the week when you're not going to see them again like the next day. You get used to seeing them every day, so I really love it. So I've just stopped off about 5 minutes away now, so I'm going to head off again in a second. But yeah, that's the plan for the afternoon. So I've got 2 hours with them now, and then I've got about an hour's drive home, and then I'm going to do Ginger. I've got time to chat to you quickly about Ginger now, actually. I'm going to do that. So Ginger, I had a really strange couple of months with Ginger. This is going back now into like winter, where I felt like I was really missing something with him. I felt like we'd done so much together, and it's really hard when I haven't got like huge goals for him anymore because he's kind of technically retired. I didn't have like big goals for him, so it was hard to kind of know where we were heading. We never really knew what we were working on. We had like little mini goals that we were doing, but there was never anything really specific. And I started to feel a little bit like our connection was dropping a bit. And we've always had, well, we haven't always, but in more recent years we've had really good connection. Our relationship's been really good. I felt our relationship was still good, but anytime I went to do anything with him, like I went to play with him or anything, he just was a bit like, oh, if he could have rolled his eyes at me, he would have done. And I just thought, what? Is it that I'm missing something? Is it something that I could do better? Is it something different that he'd like to do? Or is it that actually he doesn't want to do it anymore? It did cross my mind. I thought maybe he's just kind of done with it all, which is okay. Like he's had a busy old life and he's going to be 18 in a couple of weeks. So maybe he's just done with it all. Maybe he doesn't want to, he retired from being ridden 7 years ago. So we've just done groundwork since then, and physically he's been fantastic, but you know, I want obviously the mental side of it to be just as good. So that was kind of where we were with it. And then I kind of took some time out from him and just started just walking him in hand and didn't really do anything else. And then a few things happened and I learned a lot about him, really dedicated myself to learning from him and letting him really tell me what it was that he wanted. And what I've realised is that I just wasn't being enough. I wasn't being interesting enough, wasn't being fun enough, and all the things that I've always thought were fun and interesting, we've kind of done, and it's not enough for him now. He's so insanely intelligent and so insanely confident and clever and playful and cheeky and exuberant and all of that. The normal stuff just doesn't cut it for Ginger. Like, you've got to be, the words that I'm using at the moment are super fun. I've got to be super fun for him. And I feel like I'm kind of finding that now. I feel like we've been in a really good place. We had some fantastic sessions, which was great. And then he went lame, and it was kind of out of nowhere. And I thought he'd got an abscess in his foot, but it turned out not to be an abscess. And we've been investigating it, trying to find a cause, and not found anything. And he was lame on and off for a month. And he's kind of got over it on his own. Like, I've just rested him for a month, that's all he's done. So I'm hoping that he pulled something in the field, or had a bruise or maybe a touch of arthritis, I don't know. It was somewhere kind of in his pastern in his front left foot. But he seems okay now. He seems okay. So we've been playing again for about 3 days now, and everything looks okay. I'm just taking things really gently with him, but everything looks okay, and he feels better now than he's ever felt. Like mentally I feel like he's in a better place than I think he's ever been, which is just fantastic. I adore that horse. I absolutely love him so much. I can't even begin to explain how much I love that horse. The connection I feel with him is so deep, and I think having gone through a couple of months where it was a little bit turbulent, it just wasn't great, after the feeling between us wasn't good at all. Having gone through that and come out the other side of it and found actually where the good place is, has been amazing, because now I feel like it's almost like we've just gone into the next chapter, and it doesn't matter that he's nearly 18. Like, he feels so good right now. I'm just so happy. So we've been exploring something else, which I'm going to discuss with you, because I've got to go now, but I'll discuss with you when I get back to the yard later, because I'm hoping to kind of show you as well what we've been doing, because I'd really like to get it on film, because I'm so proud of him at the moment. He's just the best horse in the world. Anyway, I'm going to go and see Liz now, because I need to, it's time to go.
me so long to feel it. All of these years I've been listening. Are you all so numb? Do you still pretend? We felt the sunshine, we found the gold. We thought we'd be forever young, but now I know we can't keep floating, we have to fall.
That's what we've been doing. I had, I don't know when it was, a little while ago. I was playing with him in here, and I very often kind of step up onto the step and play with him from up high, and it's just a little thing we do, like it's just kind of fun. It gives us something different to think about. And we did it one day, and he lined himself up, and he just kind of parked himself perfectly, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I kind of leaned over him and all of that, and everything was great. And that kind of then spiraled and became sitting on him. The first time I sat on him was amazing. I cried. Bear in mind, this horse hasn't been sat on in 7 years. It's been at least 7 years since he was last ridden. And so when I retired him, there was a few reasons why he retired. Firstly, he went lame, and he had an old stifle injury that kind of raised its ugly head a few years after the injury. And then so he went really lame with that, but then he came sound from it, and he was okay. So we started riding again, and then the problem is with Ginger, or was with Ginger, when this all happened, we were at quite a fragile place in our journey, and I've never really talked about this side of it. I've always just said, oh, he had an injury, so he had to retire. It's not entirely true. It is true, kind of. But the injury wasn't the only thing. So the injury alone, he could still, I mean, he can't physically, he wouldn't be able to come in here and do, you know, like advanced hard ridden work. Like, he couldn't do that. But he was always okay to kind of potter around and hack around the fields and things like that. But we were in a really fragile place with our journey. We had only really been riding successfully a little while at this point, because we'd been through all the tricky stuff. And when I look back now, I realise that I never fully trusted him. I always felt like, even when things were good with the ridden stuff, and we did some really cool ridden stuff, like I could ride him bridleless, he's just awesome, like incredibly clever, talented horse. But I always felt like there was a little something missing. I always felt there was a little bit of trust missing, a little bit of trust that would have made me feel completely relaxed with him. I never felt completely 110% relaxed with him. I always had that little niggly little voice in the back of my head going, but he could freak, he could explode. And his explosions are big, big. He's a very different horse now. So when he had his leg injury, and then he kind of came back into work, and then he went lame again, and it was like, the problem was the level of physical exercise I had to do with him to warm him up just to sit on him, let alone ride, let alone do anything more than just sit on him at the mountain block. The warm up I had to do to get to that point was so extreme that it would injure his leg, because he couldn't have that much pressure. It was still at that point it was still quite a fresh thing, like he'd re-injured himself, so he couldn't cope with that amount of work to get to that point. So I'd get on him and he'd explode. So I'd be like, right, well, I need to do more groundwork. So I'd do more groundwork, and then his leg would go. We also were having issues with his back at the time as well, which I now realise was all connected. He was so tense all the time, and I realise, he hasn't had back issues in years now. He's been so much better in his mind for so many years now that physically he's better as well. He hasn't had any problems with his stifle in a long time, in again years. He's actually really strong there. We've had the vet and the chiropractor have been really pleased with him. and both have kind of said that he's better the more he's doing. The more I do with him, the better he is, which is great. It's good to keep him muscled up and stuff like that, and he's been doing so incredibly well. And I've always, so the ridden stuff, like, he's not going to be a ridden horse. He's not, like, that's not going to happen, because he physically wouldn't be able to cope with a lot. He's also nearly 18 now, which I know it's not old, but he's had a hard life. He's done a hell of a lot in his life. But he wouldn't physically cope with being a ridden horse. You know, like to come in here and have a trot and a canter and do, you know, fancy stuffs, and he probably could still hack, but I don't want to push it. I want this horse to live forever. I know he's not going to, but I want him to, so I want to make it last as long as possible. So I don't want to do anything that's likely to put any extra strain on his leg. Now, me sitting on him and doing the little bit that I did in here today is going to do him no harm whatsoever. Like, that's sorry, I don't know what's going on. That's nothing. You know, he can cope with that, and I know him so well now that he'll tell me, and I'll know. Like, he doesn't need to explode to tell me something's wrong. I know his little signs. I've got a little language with him. I don't know if you noticed when I finished and I got off at the step. That's my little language, my little communication that I'm getting going with him. When he's done, he can go to the step whenever he wants, and I'll get off. That's my little language with him. I've got my relationship with him, and my connection with him is something I've never felt with a horse before. I've never felt it. I didn't even know it was possible. I knew you could get a connection with a horse. I did not know it could be this deep. It's really, really bloody deep. And it's amazing. And it feels so right doing this. It feels like he wants me up there. It feels like it's given him something new to think about. He's interested. He's fascinated by it. The amazing thing is, so today is the second ride. Last night I did 10 minutes. All of the stuff that we did, so moving off of my body and my legs, not using my reins, you know, it's been 7 years since I've asked him to do anything like that with a rider on, and he just does it. Like, it's like nothing ever. He's just exactly the same as he was then, except he's not exactly the same. He's better, because I've got a connection with him now, and that little piece of trust that was missing is there. I've got it. I completely trust him. I feel so safe with him. I feel completely at home on his back, and it was really emotional. The first time I sat on him was really emotional, and then last night was really emotional. Today it feels a bit more normal because I've already done it once, but the love I have for that horse is like nothing I ever knew was possible, and the connection. And it's like, I work with so many horses every week, and I ride horses, and I see people's journeys, and I get to know other horses, and I fall in love with them and all of that. But there is nothing like this horse. Nothing even comes within it, a mile of it. Like, he's just so incredibly special to me, and I can't imagine ever having that with another horse. I can't. I know it's possible, but it's like putting on an old pair of boots, sitting on his back. It just feels like home. It's just my natural place to be, and I don't ever want to go off. And it's really hard when he goes back to the block. I'm like, I'd sat there then, and I sat there thinking, and I said to him, I don't want to get off. I said, we'll stop now, but I don't want to get off. I just want to stay up here forever. It's just wonderful. I'm so happy. The most beautiful boy in all of the land. Ginger is the most beautiful boy ever. Oh, I love you. Mwah. Come on then, let's go find some dinner. Look at his nose, it's all sandy, and look at this. So this lip, right, is always droopy because, can you see, he had a tooth removed there and his tongue pokes out through it. But when they took the tooth out, they damaged a nerve, and so his bottom lip's like permanently droopy, which is so cute, so adorable.